The question to the American people is, even if you didn't vote for Trump, did any of us vote for Elon Musk? Because he seems to be making all of the traction, making all the moves. So please help me to understand, where did Elon Musk come from other than financing Trump's campaign and getting him out of all that financial debt?
As Head Start, somehow the only money that didn't stop was the money to him and his organization. Now, I don't know how you can have him be the watchdog as well as the guy that is literally living off of the government. If we want to talk about government welfare, it looks like Elon Musk, because it's my understanding that just on yesterday, a new contract was approved for approximately $300 million for Elon Musk.
Once again, she nailed it. Elon Musk is not draining the swamp. He is the swamp. While people who rely on government programs to help them are losing those programs, Musk's companies like SpaceX and Tesla and Starlink are getting billions of dollars in contracts from the government. But don't worry, he's totally unbiased.
But the real issue here is that he's talking a big game about transparency, but he's not being transparent himself. This idea that Elon Musk shouldn't have to do financial disclosures like everybody else who's working in the government is ludicrous.
They're
the New York
over
Times,
the Doge website.
well, also when you pull it up, it's empty right now. And President Trump said yesterday, oh, well, he doesn't need to do it. Caroline Leavitt has said he doesn't need to do it. The New York Times is reporting that at least 11 of the federal agencies that they have gone after have open complaints, over 32 open complaints into Musk's businesses. Don't the American people deserve to know? He has tens of billions of dollars in government contracts. If you are the Doge master, then open up your own books. That's part of the federal government. They are spending money on Elon Musk
Rich,
and all of his technology.
Once again, Jessica Tarlov nails it. Why is Musk asking all of these other agencies to be transparent when he himself is not being transparent? Is he going to reveal these contracts and what's going on? Is he going to tell us about it? Is he going to be transparent? Or are he and his buddies going to keep deflecting?
If you are trying to conduct audits and figure out where the waste, fraud, and abuse is, I don't know why you would go to some tech guy. In fact, it was only techies that were sitting there at inauguration. We didn't have auditors. I would welcome auditors to come in and do forensic audits. In fact, he sat there in the Oval Office yesterday and he admitted that he was lying, and he was using his propaganda machine to do it when he said that we sent millions of dollars to Gaza for condoms. That was a lie. So let me tell you something.
The gentlelady's time has expired.
It's time for
the
us
gentlelady's
to do our
time
job
has expired.
and rein in this rogue actor known
The gentlelady's
as
time has expired.
That was Marjorie Taylor Greene cutting off Jasmine Crockett when Jasmine Crockett was saying that Elon Musk admitted to lying about us sending $50 million worth of condoms to Gaza and to Hamas. But Marge jumped in and cut her off, which, by the way, does that mean that Marge is the head of a committee in Congress? I hope not, but I think yes.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, it apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there. Yeah. And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So. Nobody's going to bat 1,000.
Oh, nobody's going to bat 1,000. I see. Okay, so Musk is just making things up as he goes, and if he's incorrect, he's going to be like, I'm sorry, you should have held me accountable to it, but we've already announced it. I want you to rewind to that video again, and I want you to watch Donald Trump's face at the end when Musk is starting to answer. He's about to answer, and you can see Trump kind of just give this little look where it feels like he's saying like, this guy, I told Elon that, you put me out there, even though Trump doesn't care. He just says whatever he wants. But the whole Gaza thing, I don't know if you remember this. I mean, so much happens now so fast. But just a week or so ago, as an example of government waste, Donald Trump went in front of the country and the world and said that we had sent $50 million worth of condoms to Gaza and that Hamas was using it to make bombs. And then just upon a simple Google search, people realized, oh, the millions of dollars of condoms were going to Gaza, Mozambique, in order to try and prevent AIDS. So that was not correct, and they just moved on. They didn't come back and be like, oh, our bad, we made a mistake. No, that's what we're dealing with here right now, ladies and gentlemen, because people say, listen, Elon Musk is a genius. He's a successful businessman. He's good at this. He might be good at some things, but he's certainly not good at being someone who sticks to the facts. He's certainly not good at being someone who is fair. He's certainly not good as someone who should be an auditor of any sort. Because once again, the conflicts of interest are so simple, a 5-year-old could see it. This guy's in charge of looking at the government spending, and meanwhile, he's getting government contracts. And when he's asked about it, they go, sir, you getting all these government contracts? He goes, well, we gave the best bid at the best price. Really? According to who? According to who? We weren't born yesterday. This is ridiculous. It's such an obvious power grab by the richest man in the world who invested $200 and some odd million into the Trump campaign, and now is there giving he's talking in the White House, in the Oval Office. That's the president is supposed to be talking there, not Elon Musk. You want to talk? Go outside. Go somewhere else. Do your Q&A somewhere else. And admit that you are incorrect in many ways. And admit that you don't have auditors looking at government spending. You have a bunch of these little tech boys sitting there looking at stuff, looking at our social security numbers, getting access to all of our information, and we can't do anything about it? This is quite ridiculous and quite an obvious abuse of power. And all for what? All for what? Because Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, David Sachs, all of these tech bros who worked hard to get into the presidency, they knew that Donald Trump was someone that they could buy. And what they did was, Peter Thiel, for example, helped fund J.D. Vance's campaign for Senate in Ohio. And once J.D. Vance outspent the other guy and won, he then became prominent in the MAGA world. And from there, we see that they also lobbied for him to become the vice president. And that brings them all in, because J.D. Vance had been part of the tech world for a while. So that brings all these guys in. Now they're sitting there. Now they're sitting courtside at the inauguration. Since when do you have the billionaires in the front row? When you're saying, you know what, world, you know what, America, screw all of you and everything else I said about lowering prices and making your lives better. I'm going to make these guys' lives better because I'm going to give them more tax breaks. They're going to make more money. And eventually what's going to happen is there's going to be more disparity of wealth. If you look at it, because the whole idea that these billionaires have is the trickle-down economics thing. They've sold that to the poor, saying, don't worry, if we get rich, you'll get rich, which does not happen. All you got to do is go look at the tax rates from the 70s and 80s and how much more people were paying taxes and how once those tax rates started getting cut for the rich, the wealth inequality just grew. And the salaries that these people on the bottom part were getting was a lot less than what these people up top were getting. And these people up top were not trickling it down. They were holding it for themselves and buying themselves yachts and buying themselves homes and buying themselves presidents, which is what has happened here, right in front of our eyes. A guy with the ego of Donald Trump sat there quietly and let Elon Musk talk as much as he wanted in the Oval Office. I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know, that he's been bought, that he does not care. At some point, Elon was like, listen, Donald, I'll fund whatever you want me to fund. Just hook me and my buddies up with our interests here, and I'll fund whatever you want. Richest man in the world, unelected, running this Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, cutting programs that are needed, not auditing the programs and saying, hey, let's start cutting these parts of it. No, cut the whole thing. Guys, stay home. Don't come to work. USAID close the offices. We're not going to help out other countries that need our help, that we've committed to helping eradicate diseases and help in any other way. That could come back and haunt us. You saw Jasmine Crockett was saying that they tried to cut those programs for Head Start and a lot of federal funding that they were starting to cut. I'm not saying that I'm for spending more and inefficiently. We should be more efficient. But we need to get people in there who know what they're doing, not a bunch of 20-year-old tech kids who, by the way, from their tweets we find out are racist and not good human beings. If you had someone like Ralph Nader doing this audit, I'd be like, all right, I kind of believe it. Because Ralph Nader's, if you remember Ralph Nader, he was the guy who was like, driving the same car he drove since he was in high school or something. He was the environmental guy. If you get a guy who's just, low key, I get that guy. Okay, let's have that guy do the audit. But when you get the richest man in the world auditing government spending, and he's getting programs, he's getting contracts from the government, I mean, come on. How blatant can it be? It's so blatant, it's crazy. And this guy's getting away with it. How is this happening? Where's the Congress? Where's the Senate? Republicans don't care. Marjorie Taylor Greene trying to shut down Jasmine Crockett. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is the head of a committee in Congress. What? Nothing makes sense anymore, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing makes sense. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, the one last bastion of standing up to these people are the courts. Hopefully, the courts. Let's hope it doesn't get to the Supreme Court, because if any of this stuff goes to the Supreme Court, they're also bought, and they'll just side with Elon and the billionaires. So if you're a billionaire watching this, congratulations, you won. If you're not a billionaire watching this, don't know what to tell you, guys. I really don't. Just let's pray for the court systems to hold up until the midterm elections. And when the